In today's class, we're going to talk about another method of differentiation known as the polynomial rule. Polynomial rule is used to differentiate a polynomial function. And in order to differentiate a polynomial function using the polynomial rule, we differentiate each term one by one. Are you getting it? The polynomial rule states that when we are given a function y is equals to ax raised to the power of n, where a is the coefficient of x and n is the power of x, the polynomial rule states that the derivative of y is equals to the power will multiply the coefficient. That means I'm going to have n multiplied by ax, then the power will reduce by 1 raised to the power of n minus 1. So the derivative of y is equals to nax raised to the power of n minus 1. So this is the polynomial rule of differential calculus. Now let us use this rule to differentiate a polynomial function. Now let us take the derivative of the following function using the polynomial rule. We have the first question is y is equals to 2x raised to the power of 3. 2x raised to the power of 3 plus 4x. Now let us find the derivative of this function using the polynomial rule. The derivative of y is equals to, don't forget that we are going to differentiate each term in the polynomial function one by one. So let us differentiate 2x raised to the power of 3. Now, in order to differentiate 2x raised to the power of 3 using the polynomial rule, don't forget that the coefficient, the power to which x is raised to will multiply the coefficient. So x is raised to the power 3. Are you getting it? So 3 will multiply 2. So I'm going to have 3 multiplied by 2 x raised to the power of 3 minus 1, because according to polynomial rule, immediately the power to which x is raised to multiply the coefficient, the power will reduce by 1. You understand? And x is raised to the power of 3. So 3 multiplied by 2, 3 will reduce by 1. That's why I had 3 minus 1. Now let us proceed. Plus, now if you check this x is raised to the power of 1. Are you getting it? X raised to the power of 1 is x. Are you getting it? So for this, I'm going to have 1 multiplied by 4x raised to the power of 1 minus 1. Do you understand? Now let us proceed. The derivative of y is equals to 3 multiplied by 2, that is 6x. 3 minus 1, that is 2. Plus 1 multiplied by 4x, that is 4x. X raised to the power of 1 minus 1. Let me put it, x raised to the power of 0. Now the derivative of y is equals to 6x raised to the power of 2 plus 4. Because x raised to the power of 0 is what? 1. So 4 multiplied by 1 is 4. That is why I had the derivative of y as 6x squared plus 4. So let us proceed to question number 2. We have y is equals to x raised to the power of 9 plus 2x raised to the power of 8. X raised to the power of 9 plus 2x raised to the power of 8 minus 4x raised to the power of 3 plus 2. Okay, in order to differentiate this function, we are still going to employ the polynomial rule, because the derivative of y now becomes, don't forget, we are going to multiply the power to which x is raised to with the coefficient, and the coefficient of x here is what? 1, invisible 1. So I'm going to have 1 multiplied by x raised to the power of 9 minus 1. Do you understand? Plus, for this, the power to which x is raised to is what? 8. So I'm going to have 8 multiplied by 2x raised to the power of 8 minus 1. So let us proceed. For this, minus the power to which x is raised to is what? 3. So 3 will multiply the coefficient of x, which is 4. So I'm going to have 3 multiplied by 4x raised to the power of 3 minus 1. So plus, if you differentiate a constant, you are going to get 0. Are you getting it? So if you differentiate 2, because 2 is a constant as it does not have x, so the differentiation of 2 is what? 0. So let's proceed. The derivative of y is equals to 1 multiplied by, this should be 9. This should be 9. Sorry, this should be 9 because x is raised to the power of 9. 9 will multiply the coefficient of x, which is 1. So I'm going to have 9 multiplied by x raised to the power of 9 minus 1. Do you understand? So please don't get confused. This is 9, okay? It is not 1. Now let us proceed. This will be what? 9x raised to the power of 9 minus 1, that is 8. Plus 8 multiplied by 2, that is 16. So that will be 16x raised to the power of 7 minus 3 multiplied by 4, that is 12. So for this, I'm going to have 12x raised to the power of 3 minus 1, that is 2. So there is no need to write 0. So the derivative of y is equals to x raised to the power of 9 plus 2x raised to the power of 8 minus 4x raised to the power of 3 is what? 9x raised to the power of 8, 16x raised to the power of 7 minus 12x raised to the power of 2. Now let us solve the third question. Question 3. The third question is f of x is equals to 2x raised to the power of 4, 2x raised to the power of 4 plus 5x raised to the power of 3 minus 4x raised to the power of 2 plus x minus 1. Okay, now we are still going to use the same approach. Are you getting it? We are going to multiply the derivative of fx is equals to this, the power of x will multiply the coefficient of x. So I'm going to have 4 multiplied by 2 x raised to the power of 4 minus 1. Do you understand? So plus 3 multiplied by 5x raised to the power of 3 minus 1 minus 2 multiplied by 4x raised to the power of 2 minus 1 plus 1 multiplied by x raised to the power of 1 minus 1. If you differentiate 1 minus 1, that is 0. So there is no need of writing it. So let us proceed. Now, derivative of x is equals to 4 multiplied by 2, that is 8. 8x raised to the power of 3 plus 3 multiplied by 5, that is 15. 15x raised to the power of 2 minus 2 multiplied by 4, that is 8. Minus 8 x raised to the power of 1. So there is no need of writing that. Plus 1 multiplied by x, that is x. X raised to the power of 1 minus 1, that is x raised to the power of 0. So x raised to the power of 0 is what? 1. So I'm going to have 1 here. You understand? So the derivative of fx is equals to 2x raised to the power of 4 plus 5x raised to the power of 3 minus 4x raised to the power of 2 plus x minus 1 is this. You understand? So you can easily take the derivative of a polynomial function using the polynomial rule. Have you seen that polynomial rule is easy to differentiate a polynomial function? Now let us have another work example. Let us take the derivative of the following function. Now let's start with the first function. The derivative of y is equals to, for this one, don't forget that the power will multiply the coefficient of x and the power will reduce by 1 according to the polynomial rule. Are you getting it? So for this, I'm going to have the power, which is 3, multiplied by the coefficient, which is 1. Don't forget that there is an invisible 1 in the as the coefficient of x. So 3 multiplied by 1x raised to the power of 3 minus 1. You understand? Plus 2 multiplied by 4x raised to the power of 2 minus 1 minus, if you differentiate a constant, you are going to have 0. And if you differentiate minus 1, you are going to get minus 0. So minus 0 is nothing. So I'm not going to add anything. So let us proceed. The derivative of y is equals to 3 multiplied by x raised to the power of 3 minus 1. That is 3x raised to the power of 2. Plus 2 multiplied by 4x raised to the power of 2 multiplied by 4, that is 8. X raised to the power of 2 minus 1, that is 1. So I'm going to have 8x raised to the power of 1. And 8x raised to the power of 1 is also the same thing as what? 8x. So there is no need of writing that. Therefore, the derivative of x raised to the power of 3 plus 4x raised to the power of 2 is 3x raised to the power of 2 plus 8x. Now let us proceed to question number 2. Find the derivative of y is equals to 2x raised to the power of 3 plus 4x raised to the power of 2 plus x minus 2. The derivative of y according to power rule is what? The power, which is 3, will multiply the coefficient, which is 2. Then I'm going to have raised to the power of 3 minus 1, because according to polynomial rule, immediately the power multiply the coefficient of x, the power will reduce by 1, as you can see. we have n minus 1. So let us proceed. Plus 2 multiplied by 4x raised to the power of 2 minus 1 plus, don't forget that x is also the same thing as what? X raised to the power of 1. So I'm going to have plus 1 multiplied by x raised to the power of 1 minus 1. Minus 2, if you differentiate minus 2, you're going to get minus 0. So there is no need of writing that. So the derivative of y, don't forget, this is for the first question. This is for the second question. Derivative of y is equals to 3 multiplied by 2x raised to the power of 3 minus 1. What's the answer? That is 6x raised to the power of 2. 6x raised to the power of 2 plus 2 multiplied by 4, that is 8. X raised to the power of 2 minus 1, that is 1. So I'm going to have 8x raised to the power of 1. X raised to the power of 1 is what? X. So that is why I add 8x. Now let us have this. 1 multiplied by x, that is x. X raised to the power of 1 minus 1. X raised to the power of 1 minus 1 is x raised to the power of 0. So x raised to the power of 0 is 1. So for this, I'm going to have plus 1. So the derivative of the second question is this. Are you getting it? So let us proceed to the third question. The derivative of y is equals to, if you differentiate x raised to the power of 7, we are going to have 7 multiplied by x raised to the power of 7 minus 1. You understand? The power will multiply the coefficient and the power will reduce by 1. That is the power rule. Are you getting it? So just have that at the back of your mind. Immediately you multiply the power of a polynomial of a term in the polynomial function with the coefficient, the power will reduce by what? 1. So for this, I'm going to have 7 multiplied by 1x raised to the power of 7 minus 1 plus 8. Plus 4, which is the power here, multiplied by 8 multiplied by 8x raised to the power of 4 minus 1 plus x is also the same thing as x raised to the power of minus 1 plus 1 multiplied by x raised to the power of 1 minus 1. You understand? Minus 0. So there is no need of writing that. So the derivative of y, which is for the third question, is what? 7 multiplied by x raised to the power of 7 minus 1, that is 6, plus 4 multiplied by 8x raised to the power of 4 minus 1, that is 3, plus 1 multiplied by x raised to the power of 1 minus 1, that is 0. So 1 raised to the power of 0. You understand? Please, I want you to pay attention. Just use the third question as an example. Are you get what I'm saying? So let us proceed. For this, I have 7 multiplied by x raised to the power of 6, that is 7x raised to the power of 6, plus 4 multiplied by 8, that is 32x raised to the power of 3, plus 1 multiplied by x raised to the power of 0. X raised to the power of 0 is 1. So 1 multiplied by 1 is what? 1. So the derivative of the third question is what? Y is equals to 7x raised to the power of 6 plus 32x raised to the power of 3 plus 1. Now, I want you to try this. Try this question. Now, find the derivative of fx is equals to 2x raised to the power of 3 plus 4x. Try this question and drop your answer in the comment box, okay? Drop your answer in the comment box. You understand? So, the next rule that we are going to talk about is the first principle. Are you getting it? The first principle.